Kahaloyim, Kahaloyim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock of Israel. Shalom and salutations to Akim out here that's pushing the words of truth and sincerity. I'm Rapah Mouth. Lord willing, this video is edifying as always. The topic is going to be 9-minute update on the WHO. 9-minute update on WHO. All right, WHO is World Health Organization, and this is a video called The Power Grab of the World Health Organization. The speaker is speaking in, I believe, German, and it's translated into the English. We're going to take a look at it, observe it for 9 minutes straight, come back with some scriptures edification, and then I'll close upon that. All right, so I'm going to let the video play for 9 minutes straight, and we're going to get our update on the WHO.
Concerned by the World Health Organization's strong pressure to extend its powers, its structural and its financial capacities with a permanent effect over the sovereignty of the countries and over the self-determination of the people. It was in the wake of the COVID-19 crisis that the WHO has initiated a reform process which will bring significant changes to all of us, that will concern every human being and every of the 194 member states on this planet. This reform process was started in 2021 with two working streams, preparing two separate legal instruments. Number one, a complete new treaty, the so-called new pandemic treaty, and number two, significant amendments to the already existing international health regulations. These two legal instruments, treaty and IHR, are about to be negotiated and finalized, and they bring material changes. The contents of these drafts are on the table. They are available. They are available for everybody. And already in 8 months' time from now, in May 2024, the 194 member states of the WHO will have their final vote on both of these international agreements. This process takes place behind closed doors and at a tremendous speed. It is not reported, nor discussed, nor in society. It is unacceptable. This is unacceptable because these two legal instruments will affect every one of us by reducing, even diminishing our loss, our right of self-determination, our right in general of human dignity, and it will eliminate the basic principle of democratic participation. Also, the effects of these treaties will be felt by member states. Who will lose their sovereignty and their autonomy. Therefore, every human being on this planet should understand the essence of the two legal instruments which come under the title of pandemic prevention, pandemic preparedness, and response. In a nutshell, the WHO claims in these two legal instruments an absolute and non-questionable leadership in all health matters as soon as WHO refers itself to pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response. WHO claims to have the ultimate expertise and the ultimate power in all aspects of this wide field. I recommend to read carefully the current existing draft of the amendments of the International Health Regulations, Article 13A and Article 42. It shall be granted the power of a massive self-authorization whenever it claims to act under this purpose. I recommend to read Article 12 that establishes the preconditions for public health emergency of international concern, together with Annex 2 of the proposed amendments. On the basis of an extremely vague concept, One Health, which basically means anything and nothing. a public health emergency, to a pandemic called out and declared by the WHO. And thereby, number 4, WHO has the right, will have the right to not only declare recommendations made by several experts, but also to impose on the people of this planet, or only to a certain region, all kinds of restrictions, access restrictions, lockdowns, surveillance, and experimental treatments. So far, the list of these potential measures can be found in the International Health Regulations, Article 18. And there you will also find one example of the precondition of the proof of vaccination. That was so far meant to be non-binding. In the future, as word binding is eliminated, and as we have explicitly written down in Article 13a, the proposal, and 42 of the proposal, the commitment that the member states will give when they accept these amendments, the commitment that they will have to apply the proposed measures. This is not enough. Further, WHO will most notably reserve and assume the right to define as the sole instance on this planet and to control all information that it claims to be related to health. And this assumes as well the right for censorship and the right to interfere in social communication. It seems to be so important to the WHO that these provisions can be found in both of the international new agreements in the International Health Regulations and in the new Pandemic Treaty. And last but not least, of a brief summary that should any time be given once we speak about assessment about a public health emergency or their assessment with respect to certain measures, or when it comes to the imposing of a regime for what they call vaccination, as experimental as it might be. There will be simply no stop button for none of the member states, and not, of course not, for us, the citizens. So now, if we just look at it as a whole, this right of WHO to self-declare, to also auto-authorize itself to claim a public health emergency of international concern and to maintain it for as long as it wants. Number 2, to issue so-called recommendations that will be legally binding and that will be subject to a system of surveillance of the people, surveillance of the member states, then the total control and monopoly on information, including the right of censorship, and then the fact that there is no mechanism of control, the control of the WHO, and of correction. What do we have as a result? Well, it is very simple to say. Without the open and the open debate, without the possibility of having different opinions, different hypotheses, different methods to be discussed at the table, there will be no science, and there will be ultimately no democracy, and there will be no legal court proceedings and no justice. If the result is already predefined by one sole authority on this planet, there cannot be, by definition, a proper scientific process, a proper decision-making process. There cannot be any democracy. Number 2, it is a basic principle, not only of international law, not only of...
All right, so there it goes. Your 9-minute update on the WHO. All right, and what the man basically, what I took from that is a few things. One is total elite control over all medical and scientific information. It's a censorship of anything outside or contrary to whatever the elite WHO organization says is accurate as far as science and medical medication or medical emergencies or international health emergencies go. And 3, he mentioned that they will frustrate any plans. They have the legal power now, backed by governments, to frustrate any plans of anyone who comes up against the medical elites organizations. So there it is, complete further control being pushed. And he said it's privately agreed upon. There's nothing you can do about it. This is the new measures of the health organization called the WHO. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to jump into, let's grab a few scriptures, right? Because the scriptures tell us about how severe this time is. And matter of fact, I'll go to that later. And I'll start it off with the book of Luke 12 and 15. And this is what we know concerning money, concerning power grabs, concerning hoarding all people. The scriptures in Habakkuk tells you explicitly that the wicked will increase by way of taking control and hoarding unto themselves nations and people, meaning they want to create more and more slaves. So Luke 12 and 15, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness. All right. And the art of covetousness is perfected in this time we're living in now, where you're taking control of everybody else's resources, everybody else's things, everybody else's lands, people. All right. So we're going to get really quickly just a definition to get an understanding of the word.
Strong's G 4124, pleonaxia. Pleonaxia.
The word covetous in the Greek, pleonexia. Greedy desire to have more. There you go. Greedy desire to have more, aka greed. All right, so we're talking about greed here. But the scripture says, take heed, all right, and beware of that greed. Beware of that greedy desire to have more. It says, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. So one thing about America, one thing about this world and the vibration of it in this day and age, ran by the wicked elite, that they're greedy. And so the masses of people have become greedy. Now, when you take a look at the world, there's a farmer strike as well going on over there in Germany. Big farmer strike going on. People being beat, they're being taken hostage. You know, police is locking them up for it as we speak. Because of greed, because of these same elites coming down on the little bit of power that the people actually have. Okay, so greed, all right, and is being perpetuated if people or the elites weren't in power to push this vibration of greed upon the world, where everybody feels like they have to have more before it's all run out. They got to take more than they need because there's a scarcity of it. Then you wouldn't have this issue we have right now. You'd have people farming, growing their own crops. You'd have a place where people had enough land. There wouldn't be homelessness. There wouldn't be starvation, right? A lot of that's come from greed. Matter of fact, they're going to manufacture the starvation. That's why there's a strike in Germany for the farmers, because they want to manufacture a famine. Okay? This is all for more control, more greed. All right? For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. But you wouldn't believe that had you just had just this regular American education. They'll say, well, the more the merrier. The more abundantly you have, only then, once you have all of these things and more than you need, then you'll be fulfilled. But that's the whole point, is that you just need enough. Scriptures talk about, you should be content with food and raiment. Let's go into the next scripture. Job 31:24 says, I have made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence. All right. It's like he says, if I have made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence, if I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much, if I beheld the sun when it shines, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand, this also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the power that is above. So Paul is basically saying, even in the NLT, says, have I gloated about my wealth and all that I own? Have I looked at the verse 24? Have I put my trust in money or felt secure because of my gold? And then verse 28, if so, I should be punished by the judges, for it would mean that I deny Yahweh from heaven. So denial of the Father is synonymous with putting all your trust in your gold, putting all your trust in your riches, putting all your confidence in your wealth, in your money, in your possessions. You deny the Father when you do that. And that's exactly what Esau and Edom do. Deny the Father daily and teach the nations to deny the Father daily, and teach the Israelite people 2/3 to deny the Father daily for their wealth, for their money. And the scriptures tell you plainly that riches make it themselves wings and fly away as eagles. This is Hebrews 13:5. Let your conversation be without covetousness. So your conversation is supposed to be without the love of your money, without the love of your possessions, without a greedy desire to have more. And you can't pretty much talk to an American without talking about his greedy desire to have more. All right. NLT says, don't love money. Here it is. Back in the KJV, and be content. Be content means sufficient with such things as ye have. And that's a hard thing. But that's like a stoic idea, which is to say it's not about your possessions. It's about appreciating and valuing what you have already. Learning to appreciate and value. Sometimes you have things, you got to relearn to appreciate what you already have. That's where that's what we're being taught to do in this book to the Hebrews, which we are Hebrew Israelite. It says, for he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So we have the Father, we have our power with us. Verse 6, so that we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. And that's the key here. If you're putting all your power and giving all your power over to your possessions, whether that be your woman, your wife, your children, your family, your house, your inheritance, what you're going to do is you're basically saying that the Lord isn't your helper. These things around you are your helper. These things are who you are now. Your things, your items, your possessions. But the Father who created you, he's your help in times of trouble, not those things. And once you can put that away and put those things, the love and the greediness away, you're left with your relationship with your Father to flourish now, because you can trust on him, rely on him fully. Psalms 34:7, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Because the idea is, well, when the who comes down and they fear and frustrate the plans of those who just want more research on the science. They frustrate the plans of those who aren't sure about taking any injections. They frustrate plans of, and come down and distort the plans and lock up and make it illegal to speak against any authorized, any authorized language concerning health. Well, then, you got a totalitarian regulation, a mob-like regulation of your health, and you no longer are in power of your health anymore. The state is. And so when all this comes to play, what's going to happen to you people when you can't say no anymore to what the state tells you to do to your body? Well, you're going to need salvation from that. And by the time you turn around to look for the prophets, there's going to be a famine of hearing the word, and you're not going to see how to call upon the Lord anymore. You're not going to see how to believe. You're not going to have the faith that it takes to turn down certain things and to be persecuted for your rights, to refuse certain said things and measures that the state tells you to do. So again, Psalms 34:7 says, the angel of the Lord encampeth around them that fear him and delivereth them. So deliverance coming from the Lord. The reason why we are not promoting have more and prosperity gospel is because, as Job said, that causes you to deny the power, your Father, Yahweh. And when you deny him, he's not going to come to save you. He's not going to send anybody to save you. He's not going to send his son to save you. You are going to be left to your own devices in that time and succumb to him. A few more scriptures and I'll end it. This is a Sirach or Ecclesiasticus and Apocrypha, chapter 34, verse 9. It says, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. He that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that traveleth is full of prudence. When I traveled, I saw many things and I understood more than I can express. I was oftentimes in danger of Slakia. I was oftentimes in danger of death. Yet I was delivered of these things. So the Father has the ability to put you in harm's danger, but deliver you from them. That's why you need to rely on him. It says, verse 13, here's a point. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them. Whoso feareth the Lord shall not be afraid, for he is hope. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doth he look, and who is his strength. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from stumbling, and a help from falling. All right. It says he raiseth up the soul and lighteth the eyes. He giveth health, life, and blessing. So what we understand completely is that it's nothing from the outside world that could heal us, that could give us life, that could bless us, that could keep us strong, keep us upright, and save us, and give us protection as the Lord can. There's nothing that exists outside the Lord that can do all these things for us. That's why he is the only one deserving of salvation. This is chapter 33 now in Ecclesiastes, same book. Verse 1, it says, there shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him. So we can rely on these words. We can hold fast to these words. And we can remember that these words have to be believed on. Okay? These words are only good when mixed with faith. Okay? Because the carnal mind wants to find something tangible, something that you can hold on to, grab, put in your pocket, all right, that you can hoard up, to prove that if I have enough of these, maybe I'll be safe. All right, if I have enough of fill in the blank, then I'll be good, I'll be protected. But faith tells you otherwise. Faith tells you believe on the Lord. He is mighty and able to save. So, Abaradazah, this video was edifying. Just a quick update on the who. And until next time, Shalom, Kohloyim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.